So I have already begun to add color to this. And I want to offer you guys a few different options because I don't really know what sort of art supplies we might have at home. So I started Alice here, and if you notice, I blended on my colors, which is something you guys should know how to do. So I started out with color pencils on her. So I was pressing harder where I was on the side here as I came towards the middle of the shape. I pressed lighter till it faded away. Then I went to the other side and I went in reverse. I could of course use paint, so I have pretty inexpensive watercolor set here that I'm going to use. So I'm going to choose a color for my table. Let's say that I make the table green and I start painting. So of course I'm painting this, filling this in. But something that we've talked about in some of our paintings that we got to do in class, there's different reasons you would have dark places and light places on colors. So for instance, let's say I'm painting the table and I've gone around the plate here, so I'm going to make that a different color later. I'm going to go around the teacup here, so I'll probably make the teacup a different color later. So if I can come up with a reason for something to be darker, then it might need to be darker. So I'm getting more paint on my brush, but I'm not dipping it back in the water. So as I go along the edge of the plate here, this I would make darker because, as you guys have told me in class when we've talked about things like this, that would need to have a shadow on it. So then I'm going to pull out from under and keep filling it in, and as I do that, the rest of the color comes out a little bit lighter as it fades away. If I need it lighter than that, I can add some more water to it. But when I put more paint under the object, that looks like it's darker under there because there would be a shadow. The same thing with the plate here. So as I pull out from under it with the green paint, it fades away, it turns a little lighter, but right under the edge of the plate, it's a little bit darker. So I could use color pencil for the whole thing. I could use paint for the whole thing. Another trick, let's say that you don't have a whole lot of these materials at home. Well, maybe I'm going to have the rabbit wearing a red shirt. So what I'm going to do is take this water-based marker and I'm going to go along the side here. But I'm not going to sit here coloring the whole thing because then I would use up that marker. And I want to save that for later too. So I put a little bit of color there at the sides. What I'm going to do, clean out my brush, and I'm going to use a wet brush, and where that water-based marker is, it touches it and it actually turns that into paint. And as you can see, I didn't have to use a lot of that marker to get a lot of that area filled in. If you don't have a lot of paints, you may not have a whole lot of paint brushes. You could take a Q-tip or take a paper towel, twist the end of it to give you a point, dip that in your water, and pull that along the marker to turn that into paint as well. So you guys will finish this and you get to choose how you're adding the color. Again, you could paint it, you could use color pencil, you could even use crayons and blend on your colors that way. But I want you guys to practice that technique of starting out darker and making something lighter. It looks a lot more three-dimensional, not only by the way we place things on our table near and far to show foreground, middle ground, background, but also through our use of how we do our colors. If we blend them, we give them a light part and we give them a dark part.